returns been going this year, and what the guys have been able to do?
No, I think it's obviously gone well. I mean, I think Adam is ranked maybe 3 or 4 in the nation. I'm not sure what the actual ranking is, but I think he's pretty special at it. And, obviously, you can't do it without the blocking up front, so we've done really good in that area. And we just try to hit it hard and aim towards the end zone, and he's done that, and he's done really well at it.
As far as the blocking goes, what's the key in trying to give him, a seam to go through, or trying to set that up? Is it, just guys taking the right guys? What do you guys have to say about that?
Obviously Kelly's special teams coordinator and does an outstanding job, and then Coach George works with a lot of it also, and does a really good job. And then each coach coaches an area. I just fortunate enough to coach the returners. So really what we try to do is get a hat on the hat and look for the opening, and we run probably 3 different returns and try to stay simple, and we try to make plays. And it's pretty much that simple.
You said he's obviously he's doing well. I think he's 4th, and when did you know he was as explosive as he is? Bronco said he knew he'd be solid, but didn't realize he'd be this explosive. When did you kind of get an idea how good he's going to be?
I thought when I first got here and doing spring drills, and not practice, but doing the conditioning aspect of the winter, and I watched him run. And he's a big body, and that's what you want as a kickoff return. And running backs normally have pretty good vision. So my success with returners, and particularly kickoff return, is a little bigger guy that can really hit it. And a running back has a little better vision. And punt returners, you want to be a little more shifty. Kick returners, you just want a guy that can put his foot in the ground and explode. And I'll run people, and he's one of our fastest guys. And in the summer I saw him catch kicks, and we worked on it, and he's really produced. He's taken to the role, and he's outstanding at it.
He got to the house once, but it came back on a penalty. What would it mean to see him or Paul or one of those guys go all the way?
It'd be a great feeling, a kickoff return, or we've gotten a punt return in with JD, but there's no bigger game changer in my opinion than a kickoff or punt return. So it's really exciting. We've been close. Maybe if we make the kicker miss, we'll score one time. So that's been our toughest challenge. We got to zero in on the kicker sometimes, and so we give him a hard time. We call him 40 plus. He gets to the 40, and whatever comes after that is a plus. So, but you'll take that every time.
Coach, you've worked with a lot of receivers in your career. Where do you rank Cody's catch among catches you've seen?
Oh, I mean, that was a good one. I mean, you don't remember them all, but as far as having a guy draped over you and the ball adjusting to the ball, that was big time. I mean, the focus and the attention to catch it, but he had an outstanding week of practice, and I said that earlier, and he's back in shape, and it's a joy to watch.
You think that'll give him he's had solid games. It's not like he's struggled when he's played, but do you think that'll maybe give him a little kickstart to even get going even better?
Oh, yeah. I think, part of it when you're an athlete and you've been injured is you got to regain your confidence. And I don't think anybody's ever doubted his ability. It's just a matter of you regaining your confidence and really, especially a hamstring, you got to learn to explode again. And so now he's exploding and it's not fearful for injuring it again because he went back and forth with several episodes. So, yeah, and I think he's back in the groove and ready to go.
He's obviously about to break a record. With one more reception, he'll have that record here at BYU. You get to see him every day. But what do you think makes him as good as he is?
I think what really makes him as good as he is his body control and ability to high point the ball. He's not a 4-4 guy per se as a receiver, but, man, his ability to separate by height and then just overall athletic ability and adjusting to the ball is special. I mean, you talk about the catch against Georgia Tech, but the 2 catches against Texas and actually getting 3-feeted was as athletic of a catch as I've seen. I'm more impressed with that than any catch because that takes a skill set that's, I like to say as coaching, maybe somebody else coached it before me. I think he's just gifted, and so all the credit goes to him on that.
You want your receivers blocking downfield, and they've done an excellent job as far as, with Taysom getting the yards. The call on Ross Oppo, was that legit, or was that was...
The best way for me to answer that is no comment.
Okay, sorry.
How about that?
I didn't mean to set you up better.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I mean, I have my own personal opinions, and we'll keep it that way. Okay.
So that's not a situation where you'd tell Ross to back off at all? You
No, I tell him freaking
stay, be aggressive.
next time, just put him on the ground, and and then maybe we won't get the call.
But you've coached some pretty talented receivers in the past. How does Cody match up to previous receivers if you were to kind of talk about his potential and his work ethic?
I think really he's really starting to get in the groove of really working every play, and a lot of that had to do with the injury. As far as I haven't had one as skilled as him, and as far as body control, I've had some really good ones. Reggie Barlow, who I was a second-round pick for me at Alabama State, was about as close as I've seen adjusting to the ball. He was a step faster, but I mean, Cody's 6'4", 217 pounds. That's, he's special in that way. So, players create separation two different ways. Some guys are just straight fast. Greg Jennings was fast. Cody's big and smooth, and it's hard to gauge when you're tall a receiver's how much ground he's covering. So he breaks the cushion. He broke the cushion against the guy on Georgia Tech that was in, it was a cover 3 corner, and he broke that cushion down, and the guy stood no chance. So, I mean, he's talented. I'm excited to see his future, and as he develops more in these last 6 games, and hopefully, God willing, he breaks the receiving record at BYU. But I think what's special about him winning is really important, and so it's a joy for me to coach, and so I'm really enthused. I know when I first came, there was, Cody's is different. He's got to get to trust you, and he's a little bit laid back, and I think some people confuse that for maybe a lack of work ethic. That's not true. Cody Hoffman is probably one of the most competitive people I've been around. So on game day, he takes it an even higher notch, which is a joy to see.
When the NFL scouts come around and they ask you about him, what are some of the things that they tell you about him that they think translates to the NFL?
They really don't say much. The NFL wants you, they look for ways to exclude you. No one, the NFL, they're not looking to include anyone. So they ask questions, and of course the ones I know, they'll say, hey, he's got good body control. How his hands, he's had a couple drops this year, or things like that. What I don't think people appreciate is how hard he's worked with the injury. And sometimes, people confuse that with, like I said, him not really working hard. Cody's tough as nails for me. I mean, he's fought through this hamstring, and I'm proud of him. I'm proud to say I'm his coach.
The pass game's picked up. What kind of challenges does Houston present as far as continuing that growth of the pass game? What your receivers are doing?
It's not about Houston. It's all about us. And I've said that from day one. When I look at our skill set, there's nobody that I look at that really I say, wow, they're going to shut us down. It's us. If we execute and run routes with precision and throw and catch the ball, I feel good about whoever we play. And I respect Houston. They're talented, athletic secondary, but, so was Utah State. And I mean, Georgia Tech's pretty talented, BCS team. So, I feel confident going into this game, but we have to execute. It's about us. It's not about anybody but us.
In regards to execution, how's practice been this week in preparation for
I'm excited. We're having fun. When you're winning, it's all fun. So, but we got to learn. I think the most important thing, handling defeat, it's a different challenge than handling success. You got to humble yourself and work twice as hard when you're successful. So we just got to keep grinding it out and pushing and working even harder than we worked when we lost a couple. And I think that's important.
Do you learn the things when you see players like Cody Hoffman and you see the potential development he has? When you go on the recruiting trail, do you use those guys like archetypes kind of a thing to say, well, this is kind of what you want to recruit, or is it just that you just have a specific type of an athlete that you want to recruit for a system?
Well, I think in receivers, first and foremost, you want a guy that can catch the football.